Good evening, and welcome. Tonight's story takes you into an old picture house at the very end of the night after the last showing, on an evening of soft and steady rain, where the audience has long gone home and the red velvet seats sit empty in the dim, and there is nothing left to do but put the old cinema gently to bed. There is no plot to follow tonight, and nothing to keep track of. The story is only a warm, dark room built for 100 people, holding only you and the small, kind work of closing it down for the night. There is nowhere you need to be, and nothing you need to carry. If your thoughts wander away from my voice, let them wander down the empty rows. And if you fall asleep before the end, you have done it exactly right. Settle in now. Find the position you sleep best in or near enough to it. Let the bed take all of your weight, every last bit of it. Let your shoulders settle, and your jaw and your hands. Before the story begins, let yourself settle. There is nothing you need to do with your body except let it be heavy. The bed is holding you. You do not need to help. Take a slow breath in, through your nose, gentle and unhurried. Hold it for a moment, soft at the top, and let it go, slowly, all the way out, a little longer than the breath that came in. Again, breathe in, easy and low, the way you breathe when no one is watching, and out, long and slow, letting your shoulders sink as the breath leaves. One more. In, gently, and out, slowly. And as the breath goes, let your jaw soften, let your hands uncurl, let the weight of the day drain down through the mattress and away. Now let your breathing find its own pace. You do not need to guide it anymore. It knows what to do. It has always known. Every breath from here is one step further into rest. You are standing at the back of an old single-screen cinema, at the top of the long, gentle slope of the seats, and the last showing of the night is over. The audience has gone, every one of them, out through the foyer and the heavy doors and into the soft rain, and the great room is yours now, for the night, warm and dim and quiet, with the rain falling steadily on the street outside. The screen is blank and pale at the bottom of the slope, and the seats rise toward you in their long curved rows, red velvet, every one of them empty, every one of them resting. You stand a while at the back and simply look and let the warmth of the room come up to meet you, and feel how gladly the place has emptied into stillness. The room is large and deep and warm. It has held 100 people through the evening, their breath and their warmth, and all of that gentle heat has soaked into the place, into the velvet of the seats and the carpet underfoot, and the plaster scrolls along the high dark walls. The whole room smells of warm dust and old velvet, and under that, faint and sweet, a trace of popcorn, the good still smell of a place where people have come for 100 years to sit in the dark together and be told a story. A few small lamps burn low along the walls in their amber shades, and their warm light falls on the worn red carpet and the brass ends of the rows, and gives up gently toward the high ceiling, where the dark gathers soft and kind. There is a temperature to a room like this that you feel before you think of it. A mild, even warmth that has nothing harsh in it. The warmth of old radiators that have ticked away all evening down along the walls. The warmth of bodies long since gone. The warmth that a deep room keeps the way a stone keeps the heat of the sun. The air is still. It does not move against your face. It only holds you, the way warm water holds you, and you breathe it slow, the velvet and the dust and the sweetness of it, and you feel the day begin to loosen at the edges and let go. And down at the bottom of the slope, the heavy curtains are being drawn across the screen. They move slowly on their old runners, two great folds of deep red velvet sweeping in from either side, gathering the pale screen away behind them, and they meet in the middle with the softest of sounds, a long velvet hush, and the screen is tucked away for the night, put to bed behind its curtains the way a window is shuttered against the dark. The curtains hang in their long, heavy folds, still now, faintly aglow at their edges where the lamplight catches them, and the room settles a degree deeper into its quiet. They are good curtains, old and heavy and kind, hung from a carved pelmet high above, with a fringe of faded gold along their hem that catches the low light and lets it go. They fall in deep, soft pleats all the way to the floor, and they pool there a little at the bottom, the way a long dress pools, and the velvet of them is worn to a soft sheen in places, brushed smooth by all the years of their slow drawing to and fro. If you laid your hand flat against them, they would be warm and thick, and they would give a little under your palm and then hold, the way a heavy coat holds, the way a curtain drawn against a cold night holds the warm in and the dark out. Above the curtains, the proscenium arch rises into the dim, a great plaster frame around the place where the screen used to glow, molded long ago with scrolls and leaves and small soft shapes, painted in deep warm colors and touched here and there with old gold that has faded to the color of honey. At the very top of the arch there is a plaster mask, a calm, gentle face looking down over the empty room, and beside it the leaves curl away into the shadow. It has watched 100 years of evenings from up there, that calm face, and it has seen them all end the same way. The lights coming up soft, and the people rising and going home, and the room settling back into its quiet. It looks down now and it is content, the way the whole room is content, to have done its evening and to be putting itself to bed. The seats rise away in their rows, curved to follow the slope, each one folded up now, the way they fold when no one is sitting in them, their velvet seats tipped up against their backs, patient and empty and at rest. They are old seats, the velvet worn soft and pale along the arms where 100 years of hands have rested, the springs gone gentle, and they sit in their long quiet rows like a choir between songs, waiting for nothing in particular, content to wait. You could walk down between them, your hand trailing along the worn velvet tops, and feel the warmth still in them, the warmth of the evening just gone. Each seat has a small brass number at the end of its row, worn smooth and dull with handling, and a little hinge that lets the seat fold up and down, oiled long ago and gone quiet, so that the seats fold and unfold with hardly a sound, only the softest creak of an old spring settling. The arms between them are wooden, dark and smooth, rounded at the ends where thumbs have rested through 10,000 evenings, and the velvet stretched over the seats in the backs is a deep wine red in the shadow, and a soft worn rose where the light reaches it. You can see here and there the slight dip in a cushion where someone sat all evening, and even that is filling slowly back to plumpness now in the warm, still air, the velvet rising gently back into shape, the seat forgetting the evening, easing itself toward the morning. There are seats here that have held more evenings than anyone could count. People have sat in this same red velvet, in this same warm dark, for longer than you have been alive, watching the light move on the screen, leaning their heads together, laughing softly or sitting still, and then rising and going home into the night, while the seats stayed and folded up and waited for the next evening to come. There is a great comfort in that, in being among things so patient and so worn and so kind, things that have held so many quiet hours and asked for nothing in return. You could pick out, if you wished, the seats you know best The one at the end of the row where the velvet has gone soft as moss. The one near the aisle whose spring sings a low note when it folds. The one in the very middle of the room where the screen sits perfectly framed. The warmest seat in the house on a cold, wet night. But you do not need to. They are all the same to you now in the dim, all of them soft, all of them warm, all of them folded and resting in content, row upon row of them curving away into the gentle dark, and the knowing of them sits easy in you. The way you know the rooms of a house you have lived in all your life, without needing to look. You walk down the long aisle a little way, between the empty rows, and the slope draws you gently down toward the screen, the way the whole room leans toward it. All those curved rows of seats turn to face the one place where the light used to be, and you stop and look back up the way you came, at the long sweep of the seats rising into the dim, row upon row of soft red velvet folded up for the night, climbing gently toward the small lit window of the booth at the very top, and the whole great room holds itself around you, calm and warm and built for nothing now but rest. The carpet under your feet is soft and deep, a long red carpet figured all over with scrollwork in faded gold. The pattern worn pale down the center of the aisle where the years of feet have passed, and richer and darker at the edges under the rows where fewer feet have gone. It gives back no sound as you walk. It takes the sound of your steps the way deep snow takes it, gently and entirely, so that you move down through the great dim room as quiet as the room itself, and the only sounds are the rain on the roof, far up, and the small settling ticks of the warm old building easing into the night. The lamplight is the color of honey, and it lies warm on everything it touches. It gleams along the brass rails at the ends of the rows and sinks into the deep red of the velvet, and it picks out, here and there, the soft worn gold of the plaster scrolls on the walls, the curve of an old lampshade, the faded pattern in the carpet. The walls are old and lovingly kept, painted long ago in deep, warm colors, with their scrolls and their swags and their small painted masks high up in the dark, and the warm air holds the smell of the velvet and the dust and the faint sweetness of the popcorn until the whole room smells of warmth and age and quiet keeping. The lamps themselves are small, set in brackets along the side walls, each one cupped in a shade of amber glass that has gone the color of weak tea with age, and each one holding a single soft bulb that burns low and warm and steady. They are old fittings, the brass of them dim and dark, never polished quite bright, and they throw their little pools of honey light up the walls and let the dark gather between them, so that the room is not lit so much as gently spoken to, here and there, by these small warm voices of light along the walls. You know each one? You know which ones flicker a little when the night is damp, and which ones burn perfectly steady, and you let your eye go from one to the next along the wall, down the slope, the way you would count sheep over a low fence, slow and slower and slower still. High along the walls, above the lamps, the plaster runs in its old soft molding swags of plaster fruit and ribbon and leaf, painted deep red and dim gold, and small masks set into the corners. Calm faces with their eyes half closed, looking down over the room they have watched for so long. The ceiling lifts away above them into a great dim dome, and at its center hangs an old fitting that is dark now, a ring of dim glass and tarnished metal, and around it the plaster runs in a great molded medallion of leaves, fading up into the soft dark where the lamplight can no longer reach. You do not strain to see it. You only know it is there, the calm dim ceiling far above, holding the warm air of the room beneath it like a cupped hand. High at the back of the room, above the topmost row, there is a small square window of light, and behind it is the projection booth. It is a warm little room up there, tucked under the roof, and through its window the soft glow falls down across the empty seats. That is where the last of the night's work is being done, gently, by hand, while the rain falls on the roof above and the great room rests below. You climb the few worn steps to the booth and you go in, and it is the warmest, smallest room in the whole building. It is full of the low, good heat of the machines that have run all evening, and it smells of warm metal and oil and the dry, sweet smell of film. There is one lamp with a green shade, casting a warm circle on the bench, and beside it stands the old projector, dark now, its great lamp cooled and quiet, its work done for the night. And on the bench, on its spindle, the last reel is being wound back by hand. The booth is a snug nest of a room, low under the slope of the roof, its walls hung with the things of its work, and everything in it close at hand. There is the bench along one wall, scarred and dark and smooth with years of use, and the green lamp throwing its quiet circle of light, and the smell of the warm machine still hangs in the air, oil and dust and hot metal cooling, and under it the dry, papery, sweet smell of the film. It is the smell of every evening you have ever spent up here, and it settles over you like a familiar coat, and your shoulders come down, and your breath comes slow, and you are entirely at home in the warm green dim. You take the little handle and you turn it, slow and even, and the reel turns with it, gathering the film back onto itself, round and round, with a gentle whir and a soft, steady click. Click, click, as the frames pass through your fingers. The film is cool and smooth, a long ribbon of small, bright pictures, and you let it run softly across your palm as you wind, feeling it gather, feeling the reel grow heavy and full under your hand. There is no haste in it. You turn the handle slow, and the reel whirs and clicks, and the rain falls on the roof just above your head, and the green lamp shines warm on the bench, and the whole long evening is being wound gently back onto its spool. It is a good feeling, that to wind a reel back by hand at the end of the night. The film carried its story all evening, the light pouring through it onto the screen below, 100 people watching in the warm dark, and now it is over, and you gather it back in, frame by frame, the way you would coil a rope or fold a sheet, slow and sure. The handle turns easy under your hand, the reel whirs softly, the clicks come round one after another, even as a clock, and there is a deep, mild pleasure in it, in the smooth, cool film, and the steady turning, and the soft sounds of the small, warm room. The film slides cool between your finger and your thumb as it runs, faintly ridged at its edges where the little holes run all along it, and you can feel them passing, the soft tick of each one going by, under your thumb, a tiny even rhythm beneath the turning of the reel. It is the most soothing rhythm there is, that small steady passing, the click and the tick and the whir all folded together, going round and round and round, while the green lamp glows and the rain comes down on the roof. Your hand knows the pace of it without your asking. Your hand has wound 1,000 reels, and it winds this one without a thought, slow and even, and you have only to let it. The reel grows fuller as you turn, the loose ribbon of film drawing in off the floor where it had spilled in a soft, loose coil, gathering up onto the spool a little at a time, and the spool grows heavier and turns a little slower, and the slow turning of it lulls your hand the way the slow rocking of a cradle lulls. The green light pools warm on the bench, on your slow hands, on the bright turning edge of the reel. The warm machine ticks faintly beside you as it cools. The rain comes soft on the roof just over your head, and the film runs cool and smooth through your fingers, frame after frame after frame, all the small bright moments of the evening drawing quietly home onto the reel, and there is nothing in the world to do but turn the handle, slow, and let the evening wind away. If you held the film up to the green lamp, you would see them, the tiny pictures running down the length of it, frame after frame after frame, each one a small, still moment, and all of them together the whole of the story just told. But you do not hold it up. You only let it run cool across your palm and gather onto the reel, the pictures all folding back into one another, the way an evening folds away into sleep, and you wind on, slow and even, and the reel grows full and heavy and warm beneath your hand. When the reel is wound, you set the handle to rest, and you slip the full spool into its round flat tin, and you press the lid down with a soft tinny sound, and you set it on the shelf with the others, where the reels stand in their tins in a long quiet row, each one a story folded away. There is no haste to any of it. You wind one reel, and you box it, and you stand a moment in the warm green light and listen to the rain, and then you go on to the next small thing. The shelf of reels runs along the back wall of the booth, the round flat tins standing on their edges in a row, each one labeled on its rim in faded ink, the names of stories long since shown and wound away and waiting their turn to be shown again. You run your eye along them, the dull silver tins in the green light, and there is a great quietness in the row of them, all those evenings boxed and resting, all those 100 people nights folded down small and set on a shelf to keep. You do not read the names, you only see the row of them, calm and even, and you set tonight's reel among them, and it belongs there at once, one more quiet tin in a long quiet row. You wipe the bench down with a soft cloth, and you cap the little pots of oil, and you switch off the small things one by one, the way you do every night, your hands knowing all of it. You coil the loose ends of things and lay them in their places. You square the little stack of papers by the lamp, the night's running noted down in a soft pencil hand, and you close the cover over it. Everything in the booth has its place, worn into the wood in the shelf and your own hands over the years, and you put each thing into its place without thinking, and the little room grows tidier and stiller around you as you go. The great projector stands cooling in the dark, its lamp quiet, ticking faintly to itself as the warm metal settles, and you lay a soft cloth over it, the way you might lay a blanket, and leave it to its rest. It is a great old machine, all dark curves and round housings and small bright handles worn smooth, and it has poured its light down that long beam onto the screen for more evenings than you can hold in your mind, and now it cools and ticks and settles, like a kettle off the heat, and you draw the cloth down over it gently, and it is at rest. Tomorrow it will run again and pour its light down onto the screen, and the seats will fill and the dark will fill with watching faces. But that is tomorrow, and tomorrow can keep. You lower the green lamp, and the booth dims kindly, and you go to the little window and look down, through the glass, at the great dark room below. The seats rise toward you in their dim red rows, empty and patient, and the curtains hang heavy across the hidden screen, and the small wall lamps glow far down in the amber dark like coals in a hearth. It is a fine thing to see, the whole room from up here, the room you have just put to bed, resting in its warm, dim quiet while the rain falls on the roof all around you. From up here, the room looks even deeper and warmer than it does from within it, the slope of the seats falling gently away to the dark fold of the curtains, the little lamps strung down the walls in their warm amber pools, the whole great hollow of it holding its warmth like a banked fire. You could stand here a long while at the little window, your hand on the cool sill, and watch the room rest below you, and you do, for a moment, just to be in it, just to see it whole and quiet and done for the night. Then you turn down the green lamp the last of the way, and the booth goes soft and dim, and you go. You go back down the worn steps and into the great room, and you begin the last slow rounds of closing, the lap of the place you have made 1,000 evenings. There is not much to do. The room tends itself, mostly holding its warmth through the night whether you watch it or not. But there are a few small things you do each evening, and you go to them one by one in the dim amber light. You walk down the long slope between the rows, your hand trailing on the worn velvet tops, and you straighten a seat that has not folded quite true, easing it up with a soft creak of its old spring until it sits even with its neighbors. You gather, here and there, a program left folded on an arm, a soft scarf forgotten on a seat, and you carry them up to the little shelf by the door where lost things wait to be claimed. You touch the cool brass of a rail as you pass, and it is smooth under your fingers, worn bright by 100 years of hands resting just there at the end of a row. You go along the rows, not every one of them, only the few that need it, and you set each thing to rights with the small, unthinking care of long habit. A seat eased down and folded true, a cushion smoothed flat with the flat of your hand, a program squared and set on the shelf. There is a quiet pleasure in leaving a thing better than you found it, in the small, even work of it, and you go from row to row in the warm, dim light, doing each small thing slowly, with all the time in the world, because there is all the time in the world, and the rain falls on the roof, and no one is coming, and nothing is asked of you but this. The carpet is soft and deep underfoot, worn pale down the center aisle where the years of feet have passed, and it gives back no sound as you walk, so that you move through the great dim room as quiet as the room itself. The rows curve away on either side, dim and red and empty, and the curtains hang still at the bottom of the slope, and the whole place holds its warmth and its quiet around you as you go gently down and gently up, doing the small kind work of closing. As you go, you dim the wall lamps one by one, turning each small key in its bracket so the honey light sinks down a little and a little more, and the room grows softer and dimmer behind you as you pass, the dark gathering in gently from the high ceiling, the warm amber pools shrinking back along the walls. You leave a few burning low, the ones nearest the back, so the room is never wholly dark, only deeply and softly dim, the way a nursery is dim with a single shaded lamp left on. And with each lamp you lower, the room seems to breathe out a little and settle and grow quieter until it is dim and warm and hushed all through, and only the rain keeps on above. When the rounds are done, you climb a little way up the slope and let yourself down into one of the seats in the middle of an empty row, and you let it take your weight. The old velvet soft and warm beneath you, the worn arms smooth under your hands, and you sit a while in the great dim room, just to be in it, just to listen, the way you do every night before the last lamps go out. The seat takes your weight the way the bed takes it, easily, entirely, the old springs giving gently and then holding, the velvet warm against your back and under your hands. You let your arms rest along the smooth wooden arms of the seat. You let your head tip back against the soft worn velvet of the seat back, and the whole great room is spread out around you and below you, dim and warm and still, the rows curving away, the curtains hanging heavy down at the foot of the slope, the few low lamps glowing gold along the walls, and you sit in the middle of it all and let it hold you, and you breathe, slow and slow. It is the most peaceful thing there is, to sit alone in an empty cinema at the end of the night. The room is built to hold 100 people, built for warmth and closeness in the dark, and now it holds only you, and all of that warmth and all of that quiet are yours alone. The high ceiling gathers the dark softly far above. The rows curve away on either side, patient and empty. The curtains hang heavy over the sleeping screen, and the rain falls on the roof, soft and steady, all around the warm, dark room, sealing it in, holding it close. Out in the foyer, beyond the heavy doors, the lamps have been turned down low. The carpet runs red and soft toward the dim glass doors, and the brass rails along the stairs gleam faint and gold in the half-light, and the old ticket booth sits quiet in its corner with its little window dark. The confectionery counter stands along one wall, its glass front dim, the rows of jars behind it gone to soft shapes in the low light, and the brass scoop resting in its tray, and everything there wiped down and quiet and waiting for the morning. The jars hold their soft colors in the dark. The boxes are squared away on their shelves. The little brass scales sit level and still, and the counter runs smooth and clean and dim from end to end, a long quiet shelf of small kind things put away for the night. The great old clock on the wall above the doors ticks slow, and even in the hush, its hands gone past the late hour, keeping time for no one now but the empty foyer and the rain. The poster frames along the foyer walls hold their pictures behind glass, dim and glossy in the low light, the coming attractions and the evening showing, and they catch a little of the lamplight along their brass edges and let it go. The stair to the small balcony curves up into the dark at the side, its red runner soft on the treads, its brass rail gleaming faint along the curve, and at the top of it the little circle of seats rests in its own deeper dark, empty and folded and patient as the rows below. The cloakroom stands open and empty, its rows of brass hooks bare, and behind its low counter the dark waits, mild and warm and entirely at peace. The whole foyer holds its warmth and its dim amber light, and it asks for nothing, and it waits for nothing, and it rests. Through the glass doors, far out, the street lies shining and empty in the rain, and the lit marquee above the entrance throws its warm letters down onto the wet pavement, where they lie soft and wavering and bright, and the rain stitches them gently this way and that. No one is out. No one is coming. The picture house holds its warmth and its dim amber light, and the rain falls all around it, and the night is wide and mild and means you no trouble at all. The rain keeps on at the roof and the high windows, soft and steady, running in bright, slow threads down the dark glass, gathering and running and gathering again. And the sound of it folds together with the warmth and the quiet of the room until you cannot tell quite where one ends and the other begins. The falling of the rain outside and the deep, still hush of the great room within. It is the kind of rain that means to fall all night, with no wind in it, no temper, only a soft, even falling that came on at dusk and will keep on till morning, washing the empty street, glossing the wet roofs, drumming so faint and so far up on the roof of the picture house that it is less a sound than a feeling, a soft, steady presence all around the warm, dark room. You have heard it 1,000 nights from this seat. You know its small changes, the way it gathers a little heavier and then eases, the long, slow breathing of it on the roof, and it is as familiar and as kind to you as your own slow breath, and you let it wash over the room and over you, and you sink a little deeper into the warm velvet. You sit in the soft velvet seat in the middle of the empty row, and you let the day settle behind you. The lamps glow low along the walls, the curtains hang still over the screen. Up at the back, the booth window has gone dark now, the last real wound and boxed and resting on its shelf, and the rain murmurs on the roof, patient and even, and the warm, dark room holds you in the center of it, soft and close. Time moves so kindly here. That is the quiet gift of an old picture house at the end of the night. Out in the world the evening rushed and crowded, the lights and the voices and the 100 faces, but it is all over now, all gone gently home, and here in the warm dark there is only the rain and the velvet and the slow settling quiet. There is nothing left to watch. There is nothing left to do. The story has been told and the audience is gone, and the reel is wound away, and the room asks nothing of you now but to rest in it a while. You let your head rest against the soft worn velvet, and your eyes grow heavy in the dim amber light. There is nothing to do. The reel is wound, the curtains are drawn, the doors are locked, and the marquee glows quiet on the wet street, and the rain will fall all night, soft and steady and kind, on the roof of the warm, dark room while you rest. The room is warm, the seat is soft, your hands lie easy on the worn, smooth arms, and your head rests back in the velvet, and your eyes are heavy, so heavy, in the low gold light. There is nowhere to be. There is nothing to do. The rain falls on the roof, and the lamps glow low, and the empty seats rest all around you, and you rest among them, warm and held and still. The seats sit empty in their long red rows, folded and patient, warm still from the evening just gone. The curtains hang heavy over the sleeping screen. The lamps glow low and gold along the walls, and the rain falls on the roof, and the great room holds you in its warm, dark quiet, the way it has held 100 years of quiet evenings, easily, gently, without any effort at all. The curtains are drawn. The reel is wound. The lamps are low. The rain falls soft on the roof, and the warm, dark room holds you, and there is nothing to do and nowhere to be, and nothing at all to keep. The rain falls. The room rests. The velvet is warm and soft beneath you, and the dim gold light lies easy on the empty rows, and there is nowhere to be and nothing to do but rest here in the warm dark while the rain comes down. The curtains are drawn. The reel is wound. The lamps glow low, and the rain falls soft on the roof, and the empty seats rest all around you in the warm and the dark. The rain falls. The seats rest. The curtains hang still over the sleeping screen, and the lamps glow low and gold, and the warm, dark room holds you close. The rain falls. The room holds you. The velvet is warm, and the light is low, and there is nothing to do but rest. The rain falls. The room rests. The lamps glow low. The curtains are drawn. The reel is wound. The rain falls soft on the roof. Warm and dim and quiet, soft and slow and warm and slow. The rain falls. The room holds you, soft and slow and warm and slow.